Shalom. Thanks for joining. Fear is taught and people pass on fear to others. And I'd like to share two scenarios from my life. Now, Floyd's mom had a deathly fear of dogs and cats. I mean, and it was especially evident with dogs, okay? Floyd said his mother had passed on this trepidation or fear to his sister, Judy. This was somewhat of a challenge because Floyd and I had a myriad of outdoor cats when we lived in different small scale farms in Michigan. Sometimes people would just drop off animals, or animals would come because they knew others were there and they knew they were going to get fed. And as long as they were outside, it wasn't a big deal to me. So his mother and sister, when they would come to visit, had to be protectively ushered into the house, and they generally stayed inside. But over time, as his mom and his sister became cautiously tolerant of the cats, because my young children liked to play outside, and grandma and auntie wanted to be right there rollicking, and having fun with them. And 2 Timothy 1:7 says, "For Elohim hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind." Isaiah 41:10 says, "Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee. Yea, I will help thee. Yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness." All right. So they were able to conquer some of it and be around, the cats. This next incident concerns fear of deep water. Okay, and this is concerning myself and my children. When I lived in Pittsburgh in the early 70s, my sister was also living in that same city. And she was going to a swim class. And so after the class met one or two times, I'm not sure, she asked me, "Why don't you come and join?" I said, "No, but y'all have already started and I don't know how to swim." She said, "Yeah, but it's really elementary. Just come on, you'll be able to catch up real quick." So I decided I would go. Now, in this class, it was about, I guess, 5 to 7 students that were there. And the swim teacher, she would walk along the side of the pool. She wasn't getting in the water, and she would give directions and tell us what to do, and she would imitate what strokes we were supposed to make or whatever. And so I guess maybe midway the class, she asked us one by one to get in and to kind of demonstrate the stroke and to go to the edge of the pool. We came in like on the side, and we were to go to the edge of the pool. It couldn't have been more than 10 feet, something like that. So I was near the last to get in because I wanted to see what other people were doing. I did not know how to swim, okay? And it amazes me now that I even went to a swim class, okay? So people were jumping in, but I can't remember how I got in the water, but I know I didn't jump in the water. I probably sat down on the edge and lowered myself in, and then started to tread and do whatever stroke it was. Well, I sank, okay, and I panicked. And when I came up to the water, I was screaming, okay, and I had watched numerous TV programs, and some of them had said, like, when you go down the third time, you dead, okay, unless you get rescued. So no, I only had 2 more to go. And so when I tried to catch my breath because I knew it was going down because I was panicking, I didn't know what to do, and I was going down the second time. And when I came up the second time, I was screaming, but the instructor had jumped in and grabbed me, okay. So she pulls me off the side, and I was shaking, and I was just so glad to be alive. Now, I was told later that it was a bit embarrassing because that instructor in all the classes that she had done, that was the first time she had ever got wet because I had nearly drowned, okay. So, but we have to be ever so careful that we don't allow those fearful spirits to attach to us, and we become conduits for those spirits to have influence over others. And I will say that I'm thinking had I had a better attitude about it, my children probably would be swimmers now because Floyd was a swimmer. Okay. And we even took them to infants swimming class because I didn't want them to have a fear of deep water. And they enjoyed the classes. They would go under, the person would dunk them in, and they would come to the top and lift them up, and they would, just was having just a great old time. But later on, when they got a little bit older, they didn't want to get in deep water. So I said, well, and I'm thinking they were like 7 and 8, or either 8 and 9, or something like that. And so I said, well, I'm going to get some swimming lessons for all three of us. So there was this one park that was near us. And so I had two instructors there, one for me and one for Winston and Zoe. So I got in first because they weren't too happy about being there, but I got in first, and kind of the water was low at that point, and you would walk out, and I walked out to about 4 feet, and the instructor was with me, and I didn't hear them, so I turned around and looked, and they both, maybe had gone down a step on the one of them was lower than the other one on the pool ladder. And so I said, Winston, why aren't you going in? He said, no, he said, I don't want to go under, And so Zoe, I said, well, why aren't you going in? You know what she said? The water's too wet, Mommy. So that's what I told the instructor. I said, just let them play in whatever water level that they feel comfortable. So I'm thinking that she had some floaty devices or something like that, and they were in water where they could feel real comfortable because the water like below chest level for them, or whatever. So even though the water that I was in was 4 or 5 feet, I was hesitant and I really couldn't relax, enough to go on the water for any length of time. I did take my head under, but it was only seconds when I popped back up, but my feet were still planted firmly on the ground. All right. And so that's to say that none of us, the three of us, learned how to swim. However, when we went to lakes, and there were lakes around Michigan, and lakes within areas where the big lakes, we went to Lake Huron. We went there a couple of times. And some of the lakes that were close by where we were that were smaller lakes, we would just roll up our pant legs and wade out into, knee-high water. And that for us was a great compromise. We even went to the Atlantic Ocean. That's what we did, So we were gradually overcoming that fear of getting into the water. We didn't kind of make it all the way to going under, but we have to learn that we have to tackle however we can those things that are hindrances to us, because we don't want to allow fear to stop us from enjoying a full life. Thanks for listening. Remember to like, share, and subscribe so that you can get notifications when the new stories come out. Shalom.